So you're thinking about moving to Glendora, but maybe you want to find out if all the hype is real first. My name is Gabriel Perez. I'm the team lead for the Perez team, and today I'm breaking down the 5 biggest pros and 5 cons of moving to Glendora, California. From stunning mountain views and top-tier schools to triple-digit summers and even some sticker shock on the home prices, this is gonna be an honest look that you're not gonna see on a postcard and you're not gonna see on Zillow. Now, if you're serious about moving to the San Gabriel Foothills, this video can save you a lot of time and even thousands of dollars. So without further ado, let's get into it. One of the first things we cover when a family is moving into Glendora or they're curious about Glendora is we start talking about the school district, because that is one of the biggest pros that Glendora has to it. So for example, Glendora Unified and Charter Oak Unified are both regarded as one of the highest academic achieving districts in the area. And on top of that, some awards. Goddard Middle School is a national blue ribbon school, and Sellers Elementary has near perfect reviews on greatschools.com. And on top of all these things, across the board, Glendora Unified, most all of the schools are 8 to 9, if not a 10 on greatschools.com. And I think that's a great resource because that's an objective measure and it goes across the country. So one of the biggest pros of Glendora is going to maintain that the public school system is solid, it's sought after. When you look at other cities like Pasadena, for example, people will pay a high ticket price for the home, and then on top of that, they'll probably have to look into private schools because the public school system isn't as good. Whereas in Glendora, you're having a slightly lower price versus Pasadena, but on top of that, you can rely on the public school system to take care of your kid, to be safe, and to set them up for academic achievement. Number 2 pro on the Glendora list here, and you're gonna hear this mentioned any video that's about Glendora, anybody that talks about the Glendora community, almost a guarantee they're gonna talk about the Village. Now that is the downtown district of Glendora. It's not very long, so it's really walkable, but some of the beautiful things about the Village is because it's the heartbeat of the city, any large event that's happening, whether it's a wine walk or a community event, the Christmas parade, 4th of July parade, any significant event is gonna be taking place at the Village. On top of that, you're seeing lots of boutique restaurants and stores. So if you were to go down a stroll up and down the Village, you would find tons of little children's activities like the little art school, or you'll find boutique restaurants and boutique stores where you can find one-of-a-kind or old school toys. So the Village is, I've said it before, it's the heartbeat of the city. It's cute, it's charming, it gives you that really small town feel. I don't know anybody that isn't in Glendora or live in Glendora that don't love the Village. Now, there could be a little bit of a con in there that on the weekends it gets packed, but I would say that that's kind of the beauty of a small town feel. So number 2, as a pro for the city of Glendora, has to be the Village. Charming, boutique-y, walkable, and I think you would love it. A pro of Glendora is how you can wrap a small town feel into an area that relatively is a busy city area. For example, just 30 minutes away, you're gonna run into Old Town Pasadena. An hour away, you're gonna run into downtown LA. If you were to go south, maybe 45 minutes, you're gonna run into Anaheim, and then you're gonna find yourself in the Disneyland area. So you're really close to a lot of famous and high energy, dare I say, loud areas, but Glendora itself is able to give you that small town feel. On top of that, you have the metro extension that is actually, should be hitting this summer. It should be going live this summer. 2025 is when I'm shooting this video, but that's gonna be an easier way to connect to that city life if that's what you strive for. But there's only one other city in the San Gabriel Foothills that has kind of achieved this feel, and that's Sierra Madre, that we'll cover in future videos. But Glendora has that. Glendora has that small town feel, things like the Village and just a quiet setting, and yet you are a very short drive away from tons of nightlife in downtown or Pasadena, or amusement parks like Raging Waters and Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm and things like that. So I think that's a huge pro for Glendora, is you have small town feel, big city access. So my wife moved here from Wyoming almost 10 years ago now, And she always thought it was such an interesting dynamic that they didn't have in Wyoming. In Wyoming, you're either flat all around you or you're at the Tetons, but there isn't really an in-between. Well, a city like Glendora has a permanent, beautiful backdrop of the San Gabriel Foothills. And maybe it starts to fall on deaf ears when you've been here long enough, but if you're moving to the Glendora area or any of the San Gabriel Foothills, you always can look north and see this beautiful picturesque backdrop of the San Gabriel Foothills. And on top of that, Glendora has a direct access into the hills known as Colby Trail. So if you take north up into Glendora, you can find yourself immediately at Colby Trail Park, and you can walk yourself all the way up there. Immediately, you are just separated from any type of city feel, and that's such a great thing here at Glendora. So last on my list of pros, but not any less important, is the pride of ownership that every homeowner has here in Glendora, and the safety. So those are gonna kind of go hand in hand. And just to give you some objective measures, year over year, Glendora consistently ranks over one of the safest cities in the Southern California region. I've talked about it before, fire department, police department, all private to the city, so you always have support and safety. There's lots of gated communities within Glendora as well. And then on top of that, you don't see a lot of tract homes. So a lot of these homes are custom built. The owners live in that home and they manicure the yard. You're gonna go for walks and you're gonna see white picket fences, manicured yards. It's almost as if people want to lift up the city as a whole by showing how well they can take care of their property. So you can feel that as you walk through the cities and the towns and the streets. And most everybody here is proud to be from Glendora. You're gonna walk across people that will tell you about how their family grew up here and they're raising their kids here and they'll never leave. So Glendora has a great pro of Glendora is the pride of ownership. The safety is unmatched here in the city of Glendora. So before we continue, if you're liking the material that we're putting out on Glendora or any of those San Gabriel Foothills, please like, subscribe, and share our channel so that other people can see and get the value that we're providing. So we're gonna be talking about the cons of Glendora, which I know some people may be surprised that a channel that promotes an area is gonna talk about the cons, but as promised, I wanna give you the truth of what it is like to be here, both the highs and the lows. So let's start off with number one, and that is just higher home prices. So the neighboring cities to Glendora, you have Azusa, you have Covina. Glendora is more expensive than its surrounding cities. And I'll give you a number. So a 3-bedroom, dare we call that a starter home, just north of Route 66 here, is on the market for around $800,000 to $900,000 on average. So you are seeing some pretty expensive homes. Now that's the starting point. So you see homes up in the $2 million range. And then as soon as they're custom built, you're getting above and above and above that price range. So definitely a con of Glendora is to get into the city might be a little bit more difficult due to a higher price tag. One of the cons of Glendora is that the nightlife here can be pretty quiet. A lot of times, again, we've talked about the Village at around 9 p.m. It's pretty quiet here. Again, that could be a pro for some people, but this is gonna be under the con list for nightlife grading. And just to give you some examples, there's a Legends Sports Bar, tends to be open a little bit later, but that's not off of the main road in Glendora. It's a little bit south of there. So one of the cons of Glendora is the nightlife is not wild. We've talked about how you can take the metro or you can drive into Old Town Pasadena or downtown Covina, or dare you go all the way to downtown LA. Those are accessible from here, but for the most part, once 8:30 or 9 p.m. hits in Glendora, it's gonna be fairly quiet and the nightlife is a little bit on the lower end. Number 3 on the con list is hot summers. And I'll give you a number. So July and August, it's very common to see 105 degrees or hotter. Now that's pretty normal across the cities. However, where Glendora starts to get into more of that con list is we talked about how there's not a ton of new builds. So you're seeing a lot of older homes, specifically in South Glendora. A lot of the homes are gonna have older HVAC units. they're gonna need maybe more insulation, and some of the, I should say lots of the older Glendora homes don't actually have central air. So you're gonna see a lot of wall units or mini split units in the walls. So one of the cons of Glendora, it isn't so much the weather, because that's universal across the San Gabriel Foothills. It's the fact that a lot of the older homes in Glendora are old enough to need new HVAC systems. They don't have central units, or they just need more insulation and upgrades like that. So definitely a con if you're moving to Glendora. Be prepared to repair the HVAC, install the HVAC, improve the insulation, and any of those things to deal with those 105-degree plus summers in July and August. So this is a con that I honestly would not have thought of, but again, you have an older population in certain areas of Glendora, so they definitely share that this is a con. And that is, in Glendora, it is very car dependent, meaning it's not walking friendly, and public transportation is not that robust. Like I said, towards the south of the village, they are gonna be adding and extending the metro, the A line. First of all, that's not there yet. It's built, they're testing it, but it's not live yet. But even on top of that, I kind of did a little test run here. So if you were to go from Stater Brothers, which is on Route 66, to Trader Joe's on Grand, I would say that's maybe a common route somebody might go. You're looking at a 10-minute drive, and there's no major metros that go that way, so that would be a very long walk. And that's why we would say that a con here is it's very car dependent here in the city of Glendora. The last con list for Glendora, and if I'm being honest, I think the residents of Glendora are actually for this, but people moving into Glendora may not be for this, meaning they might consider this a con, and we're gonna put it in the con column today. And that is that there is very limited new construction in Glendora. Glendora is built out. There's not a lot of open lots available. There are some, but there's not a ton. So what you are looking at is lots of custom homes, older built homes. So if you were looking for a brand new build, or you want really custom furnishings, you're gonna need to purchase a home and be prepared to do a lot of remodeling, or you're gonna have to consider going a little bit eastward where there's still a lot of land and they're building more tract homes, updated homes, more technology focused homes. So one of the cons of Glendora is you are not seeing a ton of new construction. You're seeing everything that's built here is built. When you buy, you're gonna have to upgrade, but don't expect to buy an empty lot and build your custom home, because that's not quite as easy of an option here in Glendora. So there you have it, the pros and cons of Glendora, California. Now, Glendora might not be the right fit for you, and like any city, it's not perfect. There's definitely those cons that we covered, but if those pros outweigh the cons and you're looking for outdoor adventure, beautiful mountain views, a tight-knit community, great schools, then Glendora very well could be the right fit for you. Now, if you're thinking of making a move to the area, the San Gabriel Foothills cities or Glendora, we would love to be a resource to you. We've helped tons of families relocate here into the beautiful foothills. And if you just need resources, we can hop on a call with you, send us an email, a DM. We can answer any of those questions that you may have. And then last but not least, please do not forget to like and subscribe. We love getting feedback from our clients. And if there's a city that we have not covered that you'd like to learn more about, please let us know. In closing, my name is Gabriel with the Perez team. We love helping families build lives that they love for their families here in the San Gabriel Foothills. Until next time, we'll see you on our next video.